Good morning. Welcome to Meet the Candidates 2022, a voter education program brought to you by the Shakopee Chamber of Commerce. My name is Tim Zunker, and I'm the president with the Shakopee Chamber and Visitors Bureau. Our hope is that these candidate interviews and profiles will help you, the voter, understand your choices when it comes to the 2022 elections. We ask voters to arm themselves with the information necessary to make educated choices and to make casting your vote a priority. Please visit the Shakopee Chamber website at shakopee.org to find out more information about the upcoming election. And now I'd like to introduce Angie Craig, our current Congresswoman for Congressional District 2, who is running for re-election. Angie, thank you for joining us today. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, Tim, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here with you today, and it's such an honor to represent the city of Shakopee and to work with the Chamber of Commerce. Look, our community has been through a lot over the past 2+ years. I've been there right alongside each of you. The city council and the mayor, Bill Mars, have done just an extraordinary job, I believe, along with the business community in adapting to what is happening. I was one of the authors of the Paycheck Protection Program. I championed the Restaurant Revitalization Fund and so many of the many activities we had to save our small businesses across the 2nd Congressional District. Look, I always say I'll work with anyone with a good idea, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat. And my record shows that I am among the top 3% most bipartisan members of Congress, according to Common Ground Committee, an independent analysis. I will continue to do that. I'll continue to serve as your representative in advocating for small businesses. In fact, 92% of the businesses in the 2nd are small businesses. I've pushed congressional leadership to lower healthcare costs. I've been laser focused on our supply chain issues. I've called for the president to release more oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. I have been absolutely focused on reforming Washington. So as your member of Congress, that's what I'm going to continue to do, is look for common ground, support the business community, and I really look forward to earning your vote.
Great. Thank you, Angie. Let's get into the questions. If you could write, sign, and pass 3 laws today, what would they be and why?
Well, thank you for the question. I'll start with one of the bills that I've already written and introduced in the Congress, and that would be to lower the federal tax rate for small businesses to 18% from the current 21% today. Look, I think that inflation has been challenging. Input costs have gone up, and I think this would give our small businesses on that first $400,000 of revenue, lowering the federal tax rate would give businesses a little bit of breathing room. The second bill that I've already written and half passed it into law is to cap co-pays of insulin at $35 a month. We've done this into law for Medicare and Medicaid beneficiaries, and I'd also like to get that done for those who have private insurance plans. Look, I ran a healthcare plan for a Fortune 500 company before I came to Congress. I know healthcare costs continue to go up. That's why I serve on the Health Subcommittee of the U.S. Congress, and that's why I've been so focused on lowering the cost of healthcare. And then my final bill that I've written, it's not into law yet, it's called the Humble Act. It would prevent members of Congress from trading individual stocks. It would prevent members of Congress from becoming lobbyists once they're done with their service to our community, because I fundamentally believe that my constituents must know that I'm here to serve them, not a special interest.
Great. Thank you, Angie. Coming out of the pandemic, businesses are being affected by workforce shortages, supply chain issues, and inflation. What policies would you support to help businesses struggling with these issues?
Well, look, certainly rising input costs have been challenging. Most of the reason for that has been the supply chain. I am a strong proponent of de-risking our supply chain by incentivizing American manufacturing back right here in the United States. One of the bills that I've supported is the CHIPS Act, which is going to bring semiconductor manufacturing back to the US. I also, though, believe that we've got to invest in our workforce. And by that, I mean, we've got to rethink American education in this country. Certainly, for many students, going to a four-year university is something that is right for them. For three of my sons, that was right. But for many others, I think we've got to make sure that those pathways, like we have in our high schools right here locally in Shakopee, kids know that there are many different paths to a really good career. And so I've introduced something called the 21st Century Workforce Act, which would provide for public-private partnership grant dollars to build exactly those programs. And I'm also well aware that Scott County doesn't have a technical training college. And so there's so many great activities going on in the county and of course the city of Shakopee. But we need to make sure that students know that trade schools, that a technical education is a really great way to earn a living. And of course we know these are in-demand jobs. And we've done so much in this area, Tim, it's hard to really focus on one thing, but the Ocean Shipping Reform Act was really important to getting those containers unloaded in America's ports. And look, I'm optimistic that we're going to get back to where we need to be. I'm optimistic because I've met so many business owners who are just continuing to grow. But workforce is going to remain an issue. Input costs are an issue. That's why I've introduced the bill that would lower the tax rate for small businesses.
Great. Thank you, Angie. According to the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, there were roughly 395 violent crimes for every 100,000 residents in 2021 in the 7-county metro region, which is a 24% increase over 2020 levels. What initiatives would you focus on at the federal level to help local communities reduce crime?
Well, Tim, it's a really important question. And I believe that the number one responsibility of any elected leader is to make sure that our public feels safe and our businesses feel safe. So what I've done, I've advocated fiercely to fund local law enforcement. In fact, when conversations began back November about eliminating a major city's police department, I stood up to those in my own party, and I said, I called it what it is, which was an absolute terrible idea, and I came out publicly against it. I voted to fund the police time and time again, and that is the major role of a federal elected official. Those community-oriented policing grants that come out from the Department of Justice, the burn grants, it helps our local police departments hire new officers. And right now, throughout the second, I've got 4 outstanding applications within cities to hire 5 new officers in each of those cities that I am advocating for. In addition, I've been a strong supporter of the Scott County Sheriff's Department from a community project funding perspective. And we've got new equipment that is coming to them from that perspective. In addition, I've been a strong supporter of new grant programs, new legislation. There's something here, a bill called the Invest to Protect Act, which is a new grant program for small and medium-sized police departments, in addition to Pathways to Policing, because that bill would help us rebuild the pipeline of law enforcement officers inside the community. And finally, I'll just end with this on this answer. I think it's really important that we don't have knee-jerk reactions and that we support our rank and file police officers in every time that something happens. We've got to not criticize everybody for a single incident. So I've been willing to call out any rhetoric that I think is really harmful to our communities. And as your member of Congress, that's what I'm going to continue to do.
Thank you, Angie. What would your plan be to help with healthcare costs for businesses and families?
Well, I sit on the health subcommittee of an exclusive committee called Energy and Commerce. And so I've been right in the middle of this discussion. In fact, I helped lead a Fortune 500 company's health plan, self-insured health plan when I was there as well. And so what I've done is a number of things. I've pushed the administration to allow Medicare to negotiate its drug pricing, just like private businesses can can do in our nation. I put forward and had passed the House a bill that would cap the copay for insulin at $35 a month for our nation's citizens. What I've done is I've supported a bill that would cap senior drug costs at $2,000 annually, and I've extended the Affordable Care Act tax credits that would allow folks in the individual market to get less expensive health insurance. So, healthcare is one of the expenses that was really hard to control when I helped lead the health plan. And it was really driven by increasing cost in specialty and compound drug pricing. And so you better bet I'm going to take the 22 years of healthcare experience that I have and continue to apply that to Congress and continue to drive down healthcare costs for American businesses.
Great. Thank you, Angie. With the continued infrastructure development needs in Shakopee and Scott County, what would your plan be at the federal level to assist with these ongoing projects?
Well, this is an area that I'm really excited about. Last year, I was able to secure $3.5 million in federal funding, along with the City Council and Mayor Mars, for the Riverfront Stabilization Project. I've been able to get in this next fiscal year budget, I think $1.5 million for the Innovation Hub right there in Shakopee, as well as some money for the Cultural Corridor Project. And those are just community-based projects that my philosophy has been to work with the city directly, the counties directly, to say, what are your highest priorities that need funding from a federal perspective? And let me come back to Washington and advocate for those. Minnesota historically has been a net exporter of our tax dollars. And so I feel like my job is to work with my local communities and to get as much of that tax money back in the form of investment to the city of Shakopee and Scott County. I'll end with this too. Look, the bipartisan infrastructure bill that passed the Congress last year, a lot of those dollars are not rolling out yet. But I think that that infrastructure bill is really going to be transformational to cities like Shakopee and to Scott County, which are obviously growing so fast. So I will continue to work with the city to make sure that we're making those infrastructure investments. And my experience in the private sector is that those public dollars in infrastructure that we spend often lead to additional private sector growth. So I really look forward to continuing my work with the city and, of course, with local businesses in that effort.
Great. Thank you, Angie. And as the Shakopee Chamber of Commerce, we are unapologetically pro-Shakopee and pro-business. How is your agenda pro-business?
Well, I'm unapologetically pro-Shakopee and pro-business as well, which is why I've been willing to introduce a bill that would lower the federal tax rate for our small businesses right here in the community, which is why I have so strongly supported the Paycheck Protection Program in the last couple of years, the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, and of course fought to make sure that chambers of commerce would be eligible for those programs as well. We've been in this together, and I understand, I think more than most members of Congress or those running for Congress, that a business is not just a place where money comes in and out and where you make money. This is somebody's American dream. Somebody's dream is being fulfilled, and it's a huge risk to start a small business. So I can tell you that I will always be supportive of our small businesses. I'll be right in the middle of it with you. You'll be a partner in this work for me as your member of Congress, and I look forward to continuing to earn that support.
Great. Thank you, Angie. Now I'd like to give you the opportunity to give your closing statement and message to the voters.
Well, I have really, it's been an honor of my life to serve as the representative for the 2nd District of Minnesota. The city of Shakopee and my office and myself, as well as the local chamber, we've really been partners in this fight over the last couple of years as we've dealt with a public health crisis. I'm honored to be in Washington and go to bat for the city, to advocate for federal funding for these great programs over the course of the last couple of years, in particular, the Riverfront Stabilization Project, the Cultural Corridor, the Innovation Hub, and really, Shakopee, we're only getting started. I'm in my second term in Congress, and I really look forward to continuing to earn the partnership and the support of the Shakopee business community and the city of Shakopee.
Great. Thank you, Angie. As a reminder, the views expressed in these interviews are those of the candidates, not those of the Chamber and Visitors Bureau. The Chamber is sponsoring these events as a service to the community and has gone to great lengths to ensure the objectivity. The Chamber does not endorse any candidate, but seeks to provide you, the citizens and voters of Shakopee, with the information you need to make an informed choice. The Shakopee Chamber and Visitors Bureau extends a sincere thank you to the candidates. Thank you again, Angie. We appreciate your time and your service to our community by running for office. You are performing an important service to us all. Again, thank you for joining us for this edition of Meet the Candidates 2022. Please join us September 29th at River Valley Church for our candidate forum. Please visit the Shakopee Chamber website at shakopee.org for more information. Thank you. Thank you, Angie.
Hey, Tim, thanks for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.